Ever felt like you got played in your own life? Like someone could take over the room with one look while you're still trying to find your words? Ever leave a conversation and replay it later, realizing they bent your meaning with a smile you couldn't pin down? That isn't luck. It isn't magic. It's strategy. Most people talk too much. They react too fast. They hand over control without noticing. But you don't have to live like that. There's another kind of power, quieter, sharper, built on discipline, calm, and hard self-control. Imagine spotting someone's true intent before they even speak, changing the mood in a room without raising your voice, standing so solid in your space that nobody can push you off balance. This isn't cheap manipulation, this is mastery. It's old, tested, and rooted in stoic thinking. Today, you're getting 6 rules that can change how you see power and how you carry it. And listen, don't drift here, because rule 3 is where most people slip. If you're ready to stop being dragged around by the world and start moving with real purpose, stay with me. First, learn emotional stillness. You've seen it. Someone gets hit with a hard question in a meeting. Their eyes move fast, their voice speeds up, their face heats up. They start defending, oversharing, stacking excuses like bricks, trying to look in control. But everyone watching can feel it. They just cracked. That isn't leadership. That's surrender. We love to believe emotions are truth, but a lot of the time they're just reflex, a quick reaction to discomfort, a flare when the ego feels threatened. And when you react without discipline, you become easy to read. And if you're easy to read, you're easy to steer. If your boss learns you fold under pressure, they'll press harder. If a rival sees you get shaky when questioned, they'll poke that spot again. Emotional reactions are tells at the poker table of life. Stoic training flips this. It doesn't ask you to be cold. It asks you to treat feelings like signals, not commands. The moment you can watch anger, fear, or embarrassment rise up without obeying it, you regain the frame. Picture this. You're presenting an idea and someone cuts in with a little laugh like you're not worth the air. Most people tighten up. They rush to justify. They try to win the moment. The stoic move is different. You notice the sting. You let it pass through. You keep speaking at your pace, steady, clean, unbothered. That calm does something. It unsettles the person trying to shake you, and it earns respect from everyone watching. This isn't weakness, it's refusal. People test you on purpose. They mock, dismiss, interrupt, forget you, needle you just to see if you flinch. The second they can pull a reaction out of you, they learn they own a piece of you. And once you donate that power, it's hard to take back. Emotional stillness is a weapon. In negotiation, the one who holds steady usually wins. In conflict, the calm person sets the temperature. When you don't bite the bait, you expose the other person's need for control. And here's a quick retention check. Have you ever regretted staying calm? Or do you usually regret the reaction? Exactly. Second, let silence take the lead. Most people can't stand 1 second of quiet. You see it at work when someone gets a tough question and fills the air with junk words. You see it at family dinners when a tense topic starts and everyone rushes into nervous chatter. You even see it in casual talk, where people compete to be heard instead of listening. Silence scares people because it forces them to sit with uncertainty. They think if they don't speak fast, they'll look weak. But that fear is why silence works so well. I watched someone get asked about missed targets in a high-stakes room. Instead of pausing, they launched into a frantic speech, over-explaining, blaming, promising, spinning. They thought they were saving face. They were actually showing panic. The room didn't hear solutions, they heard desperation. Silence signals something else, certainty. The person who can pause, breathe, and let the tension sit there shows they're not rattled. They're deliberate. They're choosing, not scrambling. Silence isn't doing nothing. It's doing the most important thing, observing, reading the room, letting the other person reveal their angle. Because people hate quiet so much that if you don't react, they'll start talking more and giving away more than they planned. Think of a job interview question about a gap in your resume. One person rushes, apologizes, gets defensive. Another person pauses, thinks, then answers with a short, honest, direct line. Who sounds stronger? The one who can hold the quiet. That's control of the frame. And here's the trick. When you speak less, your words gain weight. They land harder because they're not cheap. This discipline feels uncomfortable because you have to resist the urge to defend yourself, to be liked, to fix the moment. But discomfort is where the training happens. In negotiation, the quiet side often gets the better deal. In conflict, the calm side gives the other person space to expose themselves. Even socially, the one who listens is seen as wiser. So next time you want to jump in, pause, let the silence work. Then speak like you're placing a blade, not throwing pebbles. Third, Be okay with being misunderstood on purpose. There is real power in letting people underestimate you. It doesn't shout, it doesn't perform. It sits back and watches the room reveal itself. In a world that rewards loud confidence and constant self-promotion, this feels backwards. That's why it works. Most people are so busy proving themselves that they forget to protect themselves. They show plans too early. They broadcast intentions in every sentence. They remove all mystery. And what's fully known is easy to control. I once watched someone in a training session who wasn't flashy. They didn't jump in unless asked. When they answered, it was brief, almost too simple. Others smirked. They assumed not smart, not ready, not a threat. But while everyone else performed, that person listened. They tracked who bragged, who interrupted, who tried too hard, who slipped and admitted weakness. Then came the team challenge, the real problem. The loudest voices fought for control, pushed weak solutions, and exposed their gaps. Finally, they turned to the quiet person out of frustration and got a clean plan that solved what everyone missed. Suddenly, the room shifted, invisible, then undeniable. That's strategic misunderstanding. It's not lying, it's restraint. Most people can't stand being misread, so they rush to correct, explain, defend. That reflex is ego. Stoic discipline rejects it. Being underestimated can be a shield. Let them think you're not paying attention. Let them think you're harmless. When they relax, they slip. They talk more. They reveal motives. They become predictable, and predictable people can be handled. Imagine someone challenges your idea in front of the team aggressively, like it's a performance. Most people argue point by point, trying to win in public. The Stoic move is calmer. You listen, you nod, you let them feel like they scored. Meanwhile, you gather data, what drives them, where they're insecure, who backs them, who stays neutral. Later, away from the show, you address decision makers quietly, fix real issues, and move the work forward. When the result succeeds, you don't need to celebrate. The outcome speaks. And stay with me, because the next rule is where you start controlling your presence, not just your reactions. Fourth, turn absence into strength. We live in a culture that worships constant visibility. People think if they aren't always online, always replying, always present, they'll disappear. But what is always available loses impact. Scarcity increases value. I watched a high-level professional do this perfectly. While others attended every meeting, answered every email instantly, and loudly showed their expertise, this person picked moments. They skipped minor discussions without guilt. They delegated what didn't deserve their attention. They stayed quiet early in conversations. Some people mistook it for indifference. Then real problems showed up, problems that couldn't be solved with noise. Everyone turned to the one who had guarded their energy. They stepped in, asked a few sharp questions, and laid out a solution that cut through all the fog. Their presence had weight because it wasn't thrown away. This is not playing hard to get. It's valuing your time like it actually matters. Most people don't realize what they teach others when they're always available. They answer every message instantly. They attend every event out of fear. They jump into every conversation to prove they matter. They think it shows dedication. Often it shows low standards. It tells people your time is cheap and your focus is scattered. If you're always there, you get taken for granted. Chosen absence, used wisely, makes people notice. It gives them room to think about you, to wonder what you see, to respect your boundaries. And human nature hates uncertainty. In that gap, when you don't explain yourself constantly, people fill it in, often assuming you have more depth and more strategy than you ever claimed. Think about someone who rarely posts online. When they do, people pay attention. Or a leader who doesn't speak in every meeting, but when they do, the room changes. You show up where it matters. You go quiet where it doesn't. That boundary trains people how to treat you. They come prepared. They stop wasting your time. Your attention becomes something they earn, not something they grab. Fifth, lead quietly through reflection. There's a kind of strength that doesn't demand the floor. It works in the background, watching, understanding, moving with purpose. Most people think leadership means dominance, like the loudest voice wins. But the quiet approach often wins more. It's the art of guiding without force, by meeting people where they are and easing them toward a better direction. I watched this in a tense negotiation about a community project. Emotions were high. People were angry and defensive. One person didn't rush in with facts or speeches. They listened. They let people vent. They nodded. They asked short questions that made people explain more. You could feel the anger drain out, replaced by relief, because someone was finally paying attention. When they spoke, they didn't attack. They repeated people's concerns in their own words, then offered careful compromises. The room that was ready for war an hour earlier started nodding, not because they were crushed, because they felt seen. And people don't move because you're logical. They move when they feel understood. Most people fail here because they're too eager to prove themselves. They talk over others. They plan their reply while the other person is still speaking. They don't slow down enough to notice the fear behind the anger. Stoic control does the opposite. You hold your tongue. You watch posture, tone, speed, and energy. You match it just enough to build trust, not to fake, but to show respect. When someone is loud and fast, you meet them briefly, then slow the tempo. When someone is cautious, you soften your voice, relax your body, and make space. It's subtle, almost invisible, but it's powerful because once someone relaxes, they stop fighting you. Then they start listening, and now you can guide the conversation calmly instead of forcing it. Influence isn't just being right, it's being trusted, and trust is built by patience. Quick question: have you ever won an argument and still lost the relationship? That's why this matters. Sixth, walk away with clarity. Power isn't only in what you do or say. Sometimes it's in leaving. A stoic mindset knows strength isn't clinging to every battle, every relationship, every opportunity. It's knowing when to step out. This isn't cruelty, it's clarity, clear standards, clear boundaries, clear awareness of what you will and won't accept. I watched a business partnership where one person gave everything early on. Long hours, deep trust, shared plans. Over time, the partners started cutting corners, breaking agreements, chasing short-term gains, drifting away from the original values. They argued, they held meetings, they tried to fix it, but the truth was simple. The vision wasn't shared anymore. One day, without drama, the person walked away. No shouting, no threats. A fair exit, then gone. People called it weakness. Within a year, the business fell apart without that stability. The person who left had seen the rot early and refused to be dragged down by it. That wasn't quitting. That was protecting the future. Most people can't do this. They stay in toxic talks, draining jobs, bitter relationships, not because they believe in them, but because they fear leaving. They call it loyalty, but it's often fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of looking like a failure. Stoic clarity cuts through that. Suffering for no reason isn't virtue, it's waste. You don't fight to save what's already empty. You guard your energy, your peace, your direction. Walking away doesn't mean slamming doors. It means stepping out without anger because you've already decided what matters. It's leaving the meeting that's going nowhere, ending the argument when it turns personal and pointless, exiting the space where you don't belong. And here's the twist. When people know you can leave, they stop assuming they own your time. They respect the cost of your presence. You become harder to trap with guilt or fear. Sometimes your strongest move is silence, then exit. Let them rant, let them posture. You don't match chaos, you simply go. And that quiet departure leaves an echo they can't ignore. Power isn't noise. It's knowing yourself so deeply that nobody can shake you. If even one of these rules hit you, rewind and hear it again, because the second time it lands harder. Now tell me in the comments, which part are you going to use first today? Ever felt like you got outplayed in your own life? Like someone can take over a room with one glance while you're still trying to enter the conversation? Ever walk away and replay the moment, realizing they twisted your words with a clean smile you couldn't challenge? That's not luck, not magic, it's strategy. Most people talk too much, they react too fast, they donate power without knowing they're giving it away. But you don't have to live that way. There's a quieter kind of power, sharper, more controlled, built on discipline, calm, and real self-control. Imagine reading someone's intent before they even finish a sentence. Imagine shifting the mood in a room without raising your voice. Imagine owning your space so fully that nobody can shake your center. This isn't cheap manipulation, it's mastery. Old principles, still effective, still dangerous in the right hands. And if you stay to the end, you'll notice something. These rules don't just change how you speak, they change how people feel around you. Don't skip ahead. One small habit you ignore is the same habit others use to control you. Source. The first skill is emotional stillness. You've seen it in meetings, arguments, even casual talk. Someone gets hit with a hard question they didn't expect. Their eyes dart, their voice speeds up, their face tightens. They start over-explaining. They dump details, defend themselves, try to prove they're fine. But the room can sense it. They lost control. That isn't leadership. That's surrender. We like to believe emotions are honest truth, but a lot of the time they are a reflex, a quick surge to protect the ego, a panic spike when comfort disappears. And when you react instantly, you become predictable. Predictable people are easy to steer. If a boss learns you fold under pressure, they'll press harder next time. If a rival sees you get angry when questioned, they'll aim there again. Emotional reactions are tells at the poker table of life. The Stoic approach is simple. Treat emotions as impressions, not orders. You can feel anger without obeying it. You can notice fear without letting it drive. That small gap between feeling and acting is where your power lives. Source. Now picture a moment that happens all the time. You present an idea. Someone interrupts with a condescending laugh, like you're naive. Most people bristle. They rush to explain. They try to win the moment and prove they belong. But the calm person does something else. They keep their pace. They let the sting pass. They don't chase approval. They don't compete for respect. They keep speaking with clean, deliberate words. And that changes the room. Because composure is loud even when you say nothing extra. People test you on purpose. They poke, mock, ignore, dismiss, tease, accidentally disrespect you just to see what controls you. The second you flinch, they learn they can pull your strings. And once you hand that leverage over, it's hard to get it back. Emotional stillness is a weapon. In conflict, the calm person sets the temperature. In negotiation, the one who can sit in tension usually wins. When you refuse to bite the bait, you expose the other person's need for control. Quick retention check. How many times have you regretted staying calm compared to how many times you regretted reacting fast? Exactly. Source. The next skill is letting silence lead. This world is allergic to quiet. People treat silence like danger, like failure, like weakness. In work meetings, someone gets a tough question and fills the air with filler words. In family dinners, a tense topic appears, and everyone starts nervous chatter. In everyday conversation, people fight to be heard instead of listening. Silence scares people because it forces them to face uncertainty. They think if they don't speak instantly, they'll lose status. But that fear is why silence is powerful. Silence signals certainty. It says, I'm not shaken. It says, I'm thinking. It says, I don't need to scramble to look important. And here's what most people miss. Silence is not passive, it's active observation. When you stay quiet, you're reading faces, tone, timing, and motive. You're letting the other person reveal themselves. Because people hate uncertainty so much that when you don't react, they often start talking more. They explain too much. They give away their real angle. They leak the truth. Source. Think about a job interview question that hits a sensitive spot, like a gap in your resume or a mistake you made. One person panics, rushes, apologizes, gets defensive, tries to bury the discomfort under words. Another person pauses, breathes, holds the silence for one clean moment, then gives a short, clear answer. Who sounds confident? The one who can hold quiet without fear. And when you speak less, your words get heavier. They carry more weight because they are not cheap. This is hard because it feels uncomfortable. You'll feel the urge to defend yourself, to be liked, to fix the moment. That urge is the training ground. If you can resist it, you gain control of the frame. In negotiation, the quiet side forces the other side to fill the space, often with better offers. In conflict, the calm side makes the emotional side look unstable without even trying. Socially, the listener looks wiser because attention is rare. Try this. The next time you want to jump in, pause. Let the silence do work. Then speak like you're placing a tool with precision, not dumping words for comfort. Source. Then comes a move most people can't handle, being strategically misunderstood. There is quiet power in letting others underestimate you. In a culture that rewards loud confidence and constant self-promotion, restraint looks like weakness. That's exactly why it protects you. Most people reveal too much too soon. They announce plans early, they explain intentions in every sentence, they remove mystery, and what is fully known is easily controlled. The Stoic approach is different. You control what you reveal. You don't broadcast your full thinking to people who haven't earned it. You let others fill the gaps with their assumptions. And those assumptions often make them careless. They relax, they slip, they overtalk, they expose motives, they become predictable. Imagine a project meeting where someone attacks your idea in public. The average person argues hard point by point, trying to win in front of everyone. The Stoic listens, nods, lets the person feel like they scored a hit. Meanwhile, you collect information. What drives them, what they fear, who supports them, who stays quiet, who follows power. Later, away from the performance, you address decision makers calmly, solve the real issue, and move forward without drama. Results speak louder than debates. Source. Next is turning absence into strength. We live in a world that worships constant visibility. People reply instantly, show up everywhere, post constantly, chase every invitation because they fear being forgotten. But what is always available loses impact. Scarcity increases value. This isn't arrogance, it's boundaries. It's knowing your attention is a resource. If you answer every message instantly, people learn your time is cheap. If you attend every meeting, people learn you can be pulled anywhere. If you speak in every moment, people stop hearing you. But when you choose your moments, your presence gains weight. When you skip what doesn't matter, you signal standards. When you don't explain yourself to everyone, you create a kind of gravity, and human nature hates uncertainty. In the vacuum of your absence, people notice. They wonder. They lean in when you finally show up. Think of someone who rarely posts online. When they do, people pay attention. Or a leader who speaks less in meetings. When they speak, it lands. Use absence wisely. Don't vanish out of spite. Just stop being automatically available. Let people earn access to your time and focus. When they know you can say no, they come prepared. They respect your presence because it is not guaranteed. Source. Now listen closely because this next part changes how you lead without looking like you're leading. Quiet leadership through reflection. Most people think leadership means dominating, being the loudest, winning arguments, taking the floor. But the most effective influence often looks almost invisible. It starts with listening, letting others feel heard, reflecting their concerns back to them in simple words. People are rarely moved by logic alone. They move when they feel understood. If you come in too polished, too sharp, too certain, you can trigger defenses. But if you match the room's energy for a moment, tone, pace, posture, people feel safe. That's not fake. That's awareness. When someone is loud and fast, you meet them briefly, then slow the pace. When someone is cautious, you soften your voice and create space. Once people relax, they stop fighting you. Then they start listening, and that's when you guide, not by force, but by calm direction. Trust is the real weapon here, and trust is built by patience and self-control, not by winning debates. Last rule, walking away with clarity. Power isn't always pushing. Sometimes it's leaving, ending the meeting that's going nowhere, exiting the argument when it turns personal, stepping out of a situation that drains your values and your peace. Most people stay because of fear. Fear of starting over, fear of looking weak, fear of being alone. Clarity cuts through that. When people know you can leave, they stop assuming they own your time. Your presence becomes expensive. And sometimes the strongest move is silence, then exit. Let them rant. Let them posture. You don't match chaos, you simply go. If one line in this script hit you, replay it. Don't just agree, use it today. Which rule are you going to apply first? Source.